They said the mountains would break him. They said a boy could not challenge empires. Yet, in the heart of the Western Ghats, a whisper was rising, a whisper that would one day roar like a lion. This is the story of a king who was forged in the fire of rebellion, a leader who built a nation from courage and conviction, and a legend whose name still echoes through the valleys of Maharashtra. This is the story of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Shivaji was not raised in opulent marble palaces, surrounded by servants and luxury. His world was the rugged stone of hill forts, the bite of cold winds sweeping through the Sahyadri mountains, and the stories whispered by his mother, the formidable Jijabai. These weren't simple fairy tales. They were epics of freedom, chronicles of ancient warriors and prophecies of a destiny waiting to be claimed. In the flickering torchlight of their humble dwelling, as his mother pointed towards the vast, unconquered mountains, the seeds of a kingdom were sown not in soil, but in the heart of a young boy. These stories would shape a king unlike any the world had ever seen. At the tender age of 16, while most boys were still learning their trade, Shivaji made his first move. He captured the fortress of Torna. This wasn't a victory won through brute strength or a massive army. It was a masterclass in strategy, a testament to a mind that saw far beyond the present. While others saw a crumbling stone outpost, Shivaji saw the first cornerstone of a nation. He understood that to build an independent homeland, you don't start with a crown, you start with a foundation. And Torna was just the beginning. The capture sent a ripple of excitement through the local people, a sign that change was on the horizon. Word began to spread. Fort by fort, village by village, the dream of Swaraj, self-rule, ignited across the land. Loyalty to Shivaji spread like wildfire, fueled by his respect for all people and his unwavering commitment to justice. The powerful Deccan sultanates, who had long dismissed him as a minor nuisance, a mere chieftain's son, stopped laughing. The unease in their grand courts was palpable. On their strategic maps, a new color began to appear, saffron, blotting out their territories one by one. The boy from the hills was becoming a storm, and they were right in its path. To extinguish this rising flame, they sent their most fearsome general, Afzal Khan, a man of monstrous size and reputation, a giant of war, a breaker of rebellions. He was infamous for his cruelty and his cunning. The stage was set for a meeting at the foot of Pratapgarh Fort, a meeting everyone knew was a trap. But Shivaji was no ordinary opponent. He walked into that tense meeting knowing that betrayal was not a possibility, but a certainty. And while Afzal Khan prepared his deception, Shivaji had already prepared his own devastating answer. The air in the tent was thick with unspoken threats. As the two men met for a customary embrace, Afzal Khan made his move, his dagger striking at Shivaji's back, but it glanced harmlessly off hidden armor. In that split second, as betrayal was revealed, Shivaji struck back, faster, harder, and with lethal precision. His secret weapon, the Wagnak, or tiger claws, tore through the giant's defenses, turning prophecy into a bloody reality. In that single, decisive moment, the myth of the invincible sultanates was shattered. The lion of the Sahyadris had not just arrived. He had announced his presence with a roar that shook the foundations of power across the Deccan. News of Afzal Khan's defeat traveled all the way to Delhi, to the throne of the mighty Mughal Empire. This was an empire that stretched across the subcontinent, vast, heavy, seemingly unbreakable. Its emperor, Aurangzeb, was one of the most powerful men in the world. His pride could tolerate many things: rivalries, incompetence, even minor losses. But what it could not and would not tolerate was open defiance. And this mountain king, this upstart Maratha, had not just defied him, he had embarrassed him. From his ornate throne, Aurangzeb looked at the map of India and saw a single, stubborn saffron spark that refused to be extinguished. He knew he had to crush it. Under the guise of a diplomatic invitation, Shivaji was summoned to the Mughal court at Agra. But it was a cage, not a court. As soon as he arrived, he was placed under house arrest, a prisoner in a gilded fortress. Surrounded by thousands of guards, watched by countless spies, the lion was finally caged. Aurangzeb and his court believed the story would end here, that Shivaji's rebellion would wither and die with its leader trapped hundreds of miles from his homeland. They were wrong. They had captured the man, but they had underestimated the mind. What happened next became the stuff of legend, a tale told and retold for generations. While the Mughals celebrated their victory, Shivaji was planning the impossible. His escape was a masterpiece of ingenuity and daring. Hidden inside enormous baskets meant for carrying sweets and fruits out of the palace gates, Shivaji and his young son, Sambhaji, did the unthinkable. They simply vanished. They didn't just escape. They evaporated into the night, melting into the forests, into the shadows, and back into their destiny. The empire was left stunned, holding an empty cage while the lion was already on his way home. He returned to his homeland not as a fugitive or a defeated rebel, but as a hero who had outwitted an empire. His return solidified his status as a divinely chosen leader. And so, atop the magnificent Raigad fort, he was crowned Chhatrapati, the sovereign king. This was no ordinary coronation. It was a celebration of a new era. Shivaji was a king chosen not by accident of birth or inherited wealth, but by the unwavering love and loyalty of his people. As the saffron flag, the Bhagwa Dwaj, was raised high against the blue sky, it flew not as a symbol of conquest, but as a sacred emblem of freedom, justice, and self-rule for all. Now, here's the final, most incredible part of this story. Shivaji did not defeat empires with sheer numbers or overwhelming force. His armies were almost always smaller than those of his enemies. He defeated them with something far more powerful: belief. He gave his people the belief that they could be free. And while the vast Mughal Empire, weighed down by its own corruption and intolerance, began to rot from the inside, Shivaji's flame of Swaraj only grew brighter. It spread across India, inspiring others, rising again and again, long after his body returned to the earth. The lion did not just defy the empire. His legacy outlived it. Empires fall, thrones crumble to dust, but courage echoes forever. Thank you so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible stories from history. We'll see you in the next one.